So someone had posted that grief is not having somewhere to channel love. I hadn't thought of it like that before, but I guess I would think of it like if you put all your eggs in one basket, you're going to notice when it's gone, you know? So Charles and I were together for about 18 and a half years. Um, it would have been 19 this August.
Good morning. My name is Charles Early. I live in Belleville, Texas. Really don't have a lot of free time, but when I do have free time, one of the things I like to do is travel.
So Charles was, he's unlike anybody I've ever met. He was a great guy, kind of goofy, but very, very intelligent. He had a psychology degree, a law degree. He was an end-of-life doula. There was this one year where he comes up to me and stuff, and he's like, I got a present for you, right? We get in the truck and we're driving.
What's the date? It is Saturday, sometime in March 2024. I think it's the 8th.
And he goes into this Popeyes, and I'm like, well, I'm not hungry. I need like chicken. I'm like, well, you didn't even ask me what I want to eat, right? So he goes inside, comes outside, and he's got like these like 3 huge bags of food. And I'm thinking, there's no way I can eat all this. And he's like, no, that's not for you. And then we drive to a homeless camp, and he's like, your present is you get to pass these out with me. And so that's what we did.
Okay, you know why I do that?
Why you what?
Take you out there when I go feed the homeless.
Try to teach me humility and compassion. Remind me that it's not about me.
And what else?
And to help the homeless a little bit, give a little bit of respite from what they're going through.
Yeah, everyone deserves a hot meal. So, but also to get you to start appreciating what you have. You have a lot.
Life was good.
I did not. It was him. He was horrible.
We were healthy. We were happy. We had the pups that were healthy.
Oh, you're getting kisses. You're getting kisses. Thank you.
Sometimes we'd go boating. I'd like to see the sunrises and the sunsets over the water. That's the only thing that would have cured it, right?
A death doula is a non-medical professional that assists the dying and the families in a practical, logistical manner and spiritual guidance and support. We work with hospice, funerals, the medical field. We're here to fill in the gaps. I did my training through Lifespan Doulas, and the first assignment was, okay, before our next meeting, I want all of you, even if you're not artists, to draw what a perfect death would be for you. And the great thing about this course is we can go back into the platform. I started drawing how I would like to die at home, surrounded by my loved ones. And then afterwards, the celebration of life. So here's me, surrounded by loved ones. And then this is my soul family that will be waiting for my welcome home party. And then here's the party. We've got balloons, we have music, have a rock and roll band. You can have a beautiful death. We celebrate our births and we do birth plans. Let's do that for the end of life.
I tell people I weave burial shrouds as a way of softening our relationship to mortality. I'd known for a long time that I wanted to change the way that I made art. And I wanted my art to do something different in the world and not be something that you watch, something that you look at, but something that like lives a real life in the world. The very first shroud that I wove was not for a person's burial, but for a performance piece that I did in memorial to someone who had died. So this is a mechanical Dobby loom, and it is based on a ancient Chinese technology. So this is the fun part. Dressing the loom, winding the warp, dressing the loom, threading the loom, tensioning it, solving all the problems. That's the work part.
The first time that I met Anders was at our home funeral demonstration that we did back in November. They are a beautiful person. Through their own grief and loss, something beautiful came out.
You know, like when you were kids, you know, you lay down on the grass, you just look up at the clouds.
Or the stars.
It's so long since I've seen stars. I miss that. Anywho.
He had mentioned and stuff that, you know, when the time came, he wanted to have an end-of-life doula. And I had called a couple of places, and one of the persons that I found was the End-of-Life Doula Collective.
That inquiry came in around 3 in the afternoon. I went ahead and headed down to Northwestern Hospital at 7. And when I arrived, Charles was having a good day. He was totally awake and alert, voiceful.
People like every one of the characters in town. Why not? Coming from small town Texas.
He came across right away just grander than life, even though he was at his end, right?
Shoved you in that cage. I tried to save you, but he beat me up.
I also saw at the same time that his situation was more severe than what Jesse had mentioned. I could tell right away he doesn't have a lot of time.
We don't know when we're going to die, how we're going to die, where we're going to die. And I think one of the main things I've learned is that there's just so much we can't prepare for.
I didn't realize how bad it had gone towards the end because, you know, I wasn't sleeping well, I wasn't eating well.
Jesse was not ready.
He was getting too weak too fast.
Jesse, the next day when I came in, he was so hyper-focused, being on the phone with Southwest, trying to get an Angel flight.
Flying him would have cost me almost $20,000, driving him about $10,000.
With Jesse, I just, I could tell he wanted to break down.
You know, it was a lot of stress.
I felt Charles needed the permission to go, and so I took those moments when Jesse wasn't in the room to talk to Charles. First, are you in pain? And he definitely was in pain. The next question was, are you scared? And he said, no, not scared. And then I asked, are you ready? And he said, yeah, I'm ready.
I felt like I was coming in from a storm to somewhere where it was really calm. My body was feeling that it was okay to just breathe, and I can't tell you how much that meant.
The clock is ticking and he just wants more time and wants to do everything for Charles. It was really encouraging him, like, you know, cry, like it's okay, let it out. Why don't we prepare this space and make it as comfortable for him? So once we came to that agreement, a lot of beautiful things happened.
Sandy took the pictures and she got some scotch tape and she put them around the room. It was just calming, you know, breath of fresh air.
Right before 7, Dr. Lynch called and he said, Sandy, Charles is getting ready to transition.
When he was passing away, I was holding Charles in my arms and I was just telling him I loved him, telling him that he's not alone.
He was very calm. He was crying, but he was very calm and he was just talking to him. I think he cut a lock of his hair also and put it in a bag.
Bitch, look at those locks. Look at that hair. Look at that hair.
Seeing those last acts of love, that's when I broke down. That's when I started crying.
She packed our belongings and she made sure that everybody left us alone. She made sure that I was aware of what was going on.
And I told Jesse, you know, you have until midnight. Why don't you sleep one last time with him? I grabbed blankets, tucked them both into bed.
I was so tired, and I was talking to Charles, and I was both, and I fell asleep next to him, and he was calm, and I was, at the time I was waking up, like I had a nightmare at one point where I was trying to save him and I couldn't, and I was trying to wake up from that nightmare, and I woke up from that one, and I was next to Charles, and I'm like, fuck, which was the nightmare? But I got to hold him and I got to kiss him. I got to hold him in my arms and have his head on my shoulder. And I didn't have to fight anybody to do that. Sandy just took care of that.
Beautiful, imperfect life.
I think that Sandy really was a beautiful example of what an end of doula can bring to the table in the process of saying goodbye to somebody.
Grief and loss are the things that have taught me about grief and loss. There's no substitute for that. And there's no end to that. We live with loss until we die. Burying our dead with dignity and honor is one of the universal human traditions. Effect in that cloth? Yes, this artwork is going to wrap a dead body. The minerals that get embedded in the fibers over the years are going to break those down into smaller and smaller pieces until it finally disintegrates and becomes part of the earth, just like our bodies when we are buried in natural burial become part of the earth. I actually can't think of a better thing to do with my work.
To me, what I feel is a good death is being surrounded by love, if possible. Knowing that you were loved, that your life had many beautiful, loving memories. When we lose someone and that heartbreak, that heartache is a reflection of that love.
I love you, Charles. I miss you. I've loved you since the moment I saw you. Well, I miss you.
Love you.
Love you too.